Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the much anticipated round 7 here at TnB. See, this was supposed to happen last week, got delayed, had some technical difficulties, but great to be at the Red Bull Ring, round 7 of season 4. And we join right at the beginning of qualifying 1. We have a driver straight away going out on circuit, one of the Mercs. It's Death Seeker, first man out on track. At the Red Bull Ring, previously known as the A1 Ring. It's a very similar track, just slightly longer, a little bit more dangerous. Very fast circuit with some crucial braking points. Got 4 men out on outlaps. Iggy, 5 now, Captain Ice, RZDV 2000, and Griffin. No times on the board as of yet. So having a look, everybody doing their opening laps on ultra soft, it seems, except for a little piece. He seems to be still sitting in the pits, but he's got a set of super softs. Let's follow Death Seeker. So I think he was the first man out. We'll give us our first lap time. Not sure really what the guys are going for, but I'd say the 107s. This is a race I'm sure everybody has practiced for a lot more than usual. Like I said earlier, it was supposed to happen last week, got delayed. So you've had 2 opportunities to practice for this track. Death Seeker goes fastest briefly with a 110.6 and is immediately beaten by Iggy with a 107.4, which is actually quicker than I expected for your opening lap in Q1. So I wonder what they're going to be achieving when they get to Q3. Not quite sure what's happening there with the Haas driver. Some pretty erratic driving before he loses it, tumbles into the wall, and well, that's his session. Not really sure what happened there, but his opening lap was a 117, so that's the end of his session. He's going to have to wait until the race. Iggy comes into the pits. He's set his opening lap, and I think he'll be happy with that, or 107.4 to open up the session. Nothing wrong with that. Currently in second in the Sauber, TnB Wazzy. It's a 1 minute 8 flat, so a good lap time for your first initial lap time. We know he's got more to come. It's usually the case. Captain Nice in 4th. We'll be happy with that lap. 108.6, currently in 4th place. And then the only other man to have set a lap time is Death Seeker in 5th. And it's a bit of a gap there, about 1.5 seconds between 4th and 5th. He's just gone fastest with a 107.3. It's just 1/10 of a second. It's enough to take first place for the time being. Still lots of drivers need to set their lap times. A lot of fast drivers haven't got a time on the board just yet, so I think things are going to change. As I say that, we watch DW as he goes over the line. And look at that, second place, a 107.3, and that is 2/1000ths of a second. 2/1000ths of a second off the pace. Nicely done. Was he a 107.336? DW a 107.338. Don't get much closer than that. And not far away at all. Iggy with that opening lap of 107.4. Seems like he's getting ready to come out of the pits. Let's see if he can improve. RZDV is coming into the pits. He's done his first lap time. It was a 107.8. So everybody aiming for those 107s. I thought we'd end in the 107s around about Q3. Maybe we'll even see 106s before this is over. It's going to take an interesting lap time. Little piece currently in 5th place in the Williams, the 108, make that 6th place, 108.1, that was set on Supersofts. I'm not 100% sure why you'd use the Supersofts in the first session. Guess it's just to save that one extra set of ultras for the end. Looking a bit overcast, but nothing serious. I don't know about the weather. Try and get a hold of a driver a little. Let's see who's in the pits. Right, DW.
Hey Jonathan.
How's it going?
Can't complain, thank you. Happy with my time so far.
Happy with that opening lap time, 2/1000ths of a second off Wazzy?
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Not sandbagging.
What can you tell me about your weather forecast on your screen there?
Well, Jeff is telling me, what he's showing me on the screens here, it's completely dry for the quali and the race.
Okay, so no weather should play a part.
No, just a little bit cloudy and that's it.
Okay, because it looked a bit overcast, thought I'd just check.
Yeah.
I'll let you get back to it.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Very good. Cheers.
Currently just looking for some action on track. I find Gavin hasn't set a time just yet. Goes over the line and fastest. A 107 flat. We're definitely going to see 106s before this is over. A lot of pace from the horse driver. And just throwing down the gauntlet, as we say. A 107 flat. DW has come back out on circuit. Gonna see if he can find some more. Looks like he's starting a fast lap now. Currently in 4th place. When he went over the line, took pole, it was a 107.3, and I thought it was an impressive lap time. Now finds himself in 4th, and one of 3 men to find themselves in the 107.3s. So really close here at the top. Gavin just seeming to have 0.3 of a second over everybody at the moment. This is just Q1, and there's drivers out there that still have more. Follow now the man who's driving in 5th place currently in the only McLaren RZDV 2000. Had a few absentees. And that's actually allowed the championship to shake up. Now he's making a proper return. Also having a few internet problems, and now he's going to be looking to get back on it. Was in quite a dominating position there in the championship, so if I'm not mistaken, I must be honest, I haven't looked, but if I'm not mistaken, he still leads the championship. The gap has just come down substantially. But I need to check that. No, in fact, I'm wrong. RZDV 2000 finds himself now in 3rd place, behind Gav and DW, and there's 8 points between the 3 leaders in the championship. With just 3 rounds remaining, could have an interesting end to this championship. So Gavin currently leading the championship, and more importantly for tonight, currently leading the pace in Austria. Sure what happened there, we just tuned in at the wrong time, but find Springbok Gamer facing the wrong way. So he's just spun the car around and gets back on circuit. What's good to see there was he was mindful that there was a car on the way, and he actually just stopped his approach back to the circuit, let the car go by, and it's nice to see that awareness. Captain Ice currently in 10th place. He set a time of a 108.6. Actually been commentating on some other leagues, and seen Captain Ice in different formats, and now come to the conclusion that this is not his favorite motor racing game. Very quick driver. He just needs to find what he's missing in this F1 car. Springbok Gamer in the second of the Force Indias. It's locking up there a little bit, running a bit wide. Sector 3 is so important, these long twisting corners, and you need to do them at speed. And just backs off there. Two minutes remaining in the session. Probably see a whole bunch of cars come out now and try and have one last go. VW is one of those cars, he's in fourth. So Iggy did improve, but he improved from a 107.38 to a 107.3 flat. So he improved 8 thousandths of a second, and that took him from 4th to 2nd. So shows you how tight it is at the front. Let's hope that this can translate to close racing in the race. You don't want an over-eventful lap 1. Should I say turn 1. Oof, DW just sort of losing it there down the straight. Hope that wasn't the start of a fast lap, that will be annoying. But our current pole sitter, he's out on track with 50 seconds remaining in the session. Is he going to try and improve? Is he going to back off? Just right on board with him. Runs very wide and into the pits. Got a little piece out on circuit. Just trying to find who's still out on circuit. Is anyone still trying to improve? So this is Q1 going into Q2. We only have 15 drivers, so I don't know if we're going to lose anyone. We may just lose Griffin, because he lost the wheel. But I'm pretty sure everybody else voluntarily retired. Little piece goes second. Well, it's a 107.1. So he's got pace. And that top 6 actually, even your top 7, they're looking awfully close. All in the 107s. Nobody able to break that 106 barrier just yet. Will we see it in Q2, or will we have to wait until Q3? But I'm almost certain 106. Just waiting now for everybody to retire from the session. Waiting for the clock to run down. And I think that's your session. Just riding on board there with Talkie briefly, finished 13th. Well, there's Q1. Results in front of you. You've got Gavin, Little Piece, and Iggy. That's your top 3. Very tight. And then nothing in it between 4th and 5th. Between Wazzy and DW. Fossey also coming in with a great time, 107.4. Then the last of the 107s is RZDV in 7th. We've got Death Seeker, Springbok Gamer, and Captain Ice making up the top 10. Oh, we're back. Q2. It's going to be the first out on track. Naya is retired from the session. I think that's probably to do with his first race. And you get to compete in Q1, I believe. We'll have somebody coming out on track. It's Fossey. He'll be the first man to come out on track. Comes out in the Scarlet Ferrari. He definitely showed pace in Q1. 107.4, I believe it was. So he's someone to watch here for Q2. Obviously in Q2 we will lose some runners. If everything works the way it's supposed to, we'll lose 4 runners. Need to finish inside the top 10. So more is at stake in this session. Just having a look at some of the tyre choices. Only 3 cars out on track. Cars of Fossey, Iggy. As I say that, Little Piece joins the list. A few cars joining the list. DW sitting in the pits. He's got a set of super softs, as does RZDV and Gav. So there's 3 cars there on the circuit. Maybe looking at doing something slightly different. Everybody else on the ultras. No lap times as of yet, but Fossey goes over the line to start his fast lap, so he'll be the first man over the line. And by default, briefly hold pole position. Just loses a bit there out of the hairpin, and then fails to activate DRS. So maybe giving up on this lap. No movement yet from the McLaren garage. Just the one car this weekend. We have Toki disqualified from the session. Fortunately I can't see what happened, but the message I got was that he was blocking the pit lane. Keep our eye on that and hope we don't get more of those. Saw a glitch like that before that crashed the lobby. Got your first 2 runners over the line. Iggy goes over the line with his first lap, a 107.0. That was good enough for pole in Q1. So very first lap times being set, they're quick. Little Piece is currently second with a 107.1. So just a tenth off the pace. Captain Nice, his first lap is a 108.4, so it is an improvement from Q1. I think in Q1 he had a 108.6, so a slight improvement. Dead Seeker currently in 4th, 108.7. And Fossey at 109.9. So definitely did give up on that lap. DW out on circuit on his super softs. And he goes 4th on a set of supers. It's a 107.4, it's a good lap time. I wonder if that guarantees him a top 10. If he'll just stay with that. No need to go out on the ultras and then maybe start the race on this set. Go longer into the race than anyone else. We're going to watch Gavin as he ends his out lap, starts his fast lap. He is one of the 3 men attempting to do this quali on supers. So it'll be interesting to see his pace versus DW, another man in the top 5 on supers. and RZDV still in the pits. He too has a set of supers on his car, but hasn't come out just yet. Hopefully no drama in the McLaren garage, but you never know. Springbok Gamer dips into the 107s. Nicely done. Force India 4th and 5th. Closer to his teammate than he probably would have expected, but he did that on ultras. 4/10 of a second between the two Force Indias. 5th place. Nicely done. I think he would be happy if that was his starting position. Gavin's gone 4th with a 107.3. He's actually taken that position from DW by just 1/10 of a second. It's so close up at the front. Top 6 drivers all in the 107s. There's another driver in the pits, hasn't come out yet. RZDV, he can also break into the 107s, so we could potentially be looking at the top 8 all in the 107s. No action out on track at the moment. Everyone's sitting in the pits or on their way into the pits. Right now with Death Seeker currently in 8th place with a 108.7. Activates DRS, looking to improve from 8th place. Maybe drop into those 107s himself. Now approaches the critical sector 3. Oh, seems a bit jumpy on my screen. This penultimate corner so important. Make sure you don't run wide. He's going to go over the line. Is he going to improve? Stays 8th for now on a 108. Well, does improve. Not enough. 108.3. Just 0.08 of a second away from Captain Ice. Six minutes remaining. With your top 7 all sitting in the pits. Just watched Fossey lose the back end of the car there. Found himself off the circuit. He's broken a wing. Gonna have to scrap this lap and these tyres. They don't look so great. Gets Zika on his way into the pits. Some of the guys now starting to come out. Actually, we got Pitt has been disqualified for driving the wrong way. It's our second disqualification for Q2. Carry on at this rate and you don't need to worry about dropping out of Q1. Only have 11 runners currently. Little piece now attempting to improve on that third place, 107.1. Nothing in it in those top three. 0.2 of a second between all three of them. RZDV did go out on supers. He set a lap time of a 107.7. So you got your three super soft runners sitting in 4th, 5th and 6th. And, well, I'm sure they know they're safe of dropping out. Wonder if they'll just sit in the pits. No point in using up a set of ultras. Keep them for Q3 when it's max fuel and the best tires you can get. And you've always got to wonder if they're sandbagging. We only really know until that second stint in Q3. Watch Little Piece go around the final bend here, see if he can improve on that 107.1. Activates DRS. Not able to improve. And he backs off. Springbok Gamer has come out on track. Interestingly enough, he's come out on a set of supers. I think he can beat that time he set on ultras. Of course, you start with the tyre you set your fastest lap on. So if you're not actually able to catch the lap you did on ultras, you're not doing yourself any good. Currently in 8th, should be safe. I think the only man that could drop out of this session for Q3 would be the judge. He's currently sitting in 11th. He needs to find a lot of time. Needs to find 0.8 of a second if he's going to break the top 10. And he's backed off. So it looks like looks like he's going to not be in Q3. Monet retired at the beginning of the session. Pitt and Toki both disqualified. Toki was disqualified for blocking the pit lane, and Pitt was disqualified for, well, driving the wrong way. Just looking for some action on track. Find Death Seeker. Not sure if this is a fast lap. We'll find out in a second if he backs off. So he's going for it. Currently best lap for him is a 108.1. And he dip into the 107s. Not quite. But get over the line with 10 seconds remaining, so obviously he can have another go at it. And decides against it. He retires from the session. And there you have it, Q2. So in first place we've got the Russian driver Iggy in the Renault. Second place, little piece for Williams. Third place, we've got TnB Wazi. Fourth place Gav. Fifth place Fossey with a good lap time there, 107.3. TnB DW coming in 107.4. Fastest of the super soft runners, RZDV in 7th, Springbok Gamer in 8th, Death Seeker 9th, we've got Captain Ice in 10th. So Judge being eliminated from Q3, if everything works correctly, it has been so far. I'll be able to tell you in a second. Seems that's right. Seems like Judge has been eliminated. Won't be with us for Q3. We're down to our final 10 runners. No activity in the pits as of yet. Got Fossey again, the first man out on circuit. In the Scuderia Ferrari, oddly numbered 13. It's a bit ominous to choose. A whole flurry of cars have left the pit lane. In fact, we've got 8 cars out of the 10. All out on track. It's been a very busy track. Hopefully nobody runs into each other on a fast lap. Everybody needs to ensure that they've got their space. And a huge traffic jam here. TnB just slowing right down. Wants everybody to go. Camera seems sort of lost. Oh, there we go. Now 9 of your top 10 all out on track, so busy track. About as busy as it's gonna get. No lap times just yet, but they're gonna start fluttering in very soon. It's a short lap time, obviously just over a minute. We were getting 1 minute 07 flats in Q1 and Q2, so I wonder if we're going to be able to break into the 106s in Q3. TnB DW and RZDV 2000, they did their times on supers. So there should be some sort of improvement in Q3. Almost certain the lap times will come down, but the question is by how much? How much is ready in the tank? First lap time on the board is a 107.6 by Fossey. And that's beaten by a 107.2 by RZDV. Time's coming in thick and fast now. Iggy goes fastest with a 106.9. So just breaking into that barrier, and then look at that. TnB Wazi, he goes over a 106.8. Just quicker than Iggy. Gap is not very big there at the front. So we've got 2 drivers in the 106s. W's opening lap a 107.6. I think he's got more than that. I think his super soft lap time was faster. So he's going to want to have another go. I don't think you want to be too midfield going into turn 1 here in Austria. Not really the place you want to be. Seems like everyone coming into the pits just having that one quick lap and then coming in, changing tyres, having a second stint. It is maybe possible to have 3 stints. It's a short circuit. Obviously something like that would be impossible in Belgium. Then also your mechanics are never really in a rush. It does make things difficult. Looking out so far with 7 minutes remaining in the session, Wazzy still leads. We've missed that. My apologies. Gavin's actually taken second, and again repeating itself. Didn't think I'd see it repeating itself this soon though. Gap between first and second just 0.02 of a second. 8.94, 8.96. So a lot of pace up at the front. And maybe it's because the race was delayed from last week. Like I said, everybody's had 2 goes at practicing for this. DW's out on circuit, but he's ghosting. As I say that, he dives into the pits. Forsey has come into the pits, just looking for some cars on track. Springbok Gamer, the second of the Force Indias, showing some pace. Also lapping in the 107s. That's not the case for Captain Ice in 9th place. Hasn't been able to break into that 107 barrier. Currently going around in a 108.6. And then we have Deathseeker, who was sitting in the pits for an awfully long time. And he's currently on an outlap. He hasn't set a lap time as of yet. I think things could get interesting when that top 7 or 8 go out for their second stint, and Fossey's going to be the first to go out on his second stint. First lap time was a 107.6. So obviously the first lap time on the board, so it was pole for just a second. Going to be looking to improve, get himself up the grid. Want to get as close to the front as you can. Ran wide there. Hopefully just an outlap. Hopefully won't lose too much in sector 1 here. First and second place are both on outlaps. Wazzy and Gav are actually pretty close together on track. Just need to find some clean air. Wazzy slowing down. Got Robbie in 5th. Looking at 5th, you'd say he's off the pace, but if you look at the times, 5th place means you're 4/10 off the set, 4/10 off pole. So 4/10 in your top 5. Robbie goes over the start-finish straight to start a fast lap. See if he too can break into the 106s. Only 3 drivers have broken into the 106s so far. And not very far into them, so all those lap times incredibly close. So little piece, RZDV and DW could all potentially break into those 106s. Iggy and Little Piece also now on outlaps. So we could very well see a complete scramble of the order in the next minute and a half. Let's see who's got what. Let's see who's been hiding what. Gavin's gone fastest, then look at the lap time. Those sixes, very nicely done. He's going to be happy with that. Was he able to improve? Doesn't seem like it. 106.3 for Gavin. Was he in second with a 106.8? Then we have Iggy third, 106.9. DW's gone fourth and just about breaks the 106 barrier, but not quite. A 107.01. But that lap time by Gav, well, it's half a second quicker than anyone else. And if that translates to race pace, it's 50 seconds remaining. DW having another lap, or is he having an in lap? Let's have a look. Around the penultimate corner, he's not backing off. See if there's an improvement. Runs wide. That final corner. It's not a nice one. Not done yet. We've still got TnB Wazzy currently in second place, and there we go, he ghosts. He's done. Just gonna wait for the rest of the drivers to retire, and that will be Q3, and we'll be just about ready for round 7. Take 2, the Austrian Grand Prix. He still needs to retire. Well, I think it's Gavin. Good lap time there, a 106.3. Can tell you that the lap record around here is 107.4. But the outright record, not in a race, under qualifying times, that's a 104.2. Just waiting for Gavin to retire. Still got a minute on the clock. 30 seconds remaining. We're gonna have to wait until this clock runs down, it seems. Round 7 really making us wait for this Austrian grid. Well, it gives the guys some time to think. If there's anything last minute they want to change, if they have any ideas. Well, there we have our results. Gavin's going to start from pole. Set an amazing lap time of a 106.3. Second place TnB Wazi. Third place Little Piece. Fourth place Iggy. So our two international drivers in third and fourth doing well. TnB DW in fifth. RZDV sixth place. 40 in 7th, we've got Death Seeker in 8th, Springbok Gamer in 9th, and then Captain Ice, but he got in the top 10. Everybody just using all the time they can, doing the final touches, final settings. Here we go, we're on the grid. We've obviously got a formation lap to get through just first. Gav leads the pack. He set quite the lap time in Q3. Was he second place? Salbertine will be happy to have him. Little Piece third. Also a good position. Iggy in fourth for the Renault team. We've got TnB DW in the first of the Force Indias. He's starting in 5th. RZDV in the only McLaren Honda. He's going to start from 6th. One of the Ferraris, 4C, 7th place. Letzika, 8th. Got Springbok Gamer in 9th. Second of the Force Indias. Captain Ice in 10th. And we've got the one man who dropped out for Q3, the judge, in the Toro Rosso. He's in 11th. We didn't get to see much of Mornay. He retired at the beginning of Q2, so we didn't get to see much of his pace. 13th pit, he was disqualified. Toki was also disqualified in Q2, so we didn't get to see much of them or much of their pace. So, and then it seems Griffin has been disqualified. I'm not sure if he's back on the grid. We'll find out shortly. And here we go. 5 red lights, and they're off. I've already got a jump start. I've got a jump start from the back of the grid. It's Griffin. He jumps pit from 15th to 14th, but there was a jump start. Race control picked it up straight away. Race control again. Death Seeker getting a 5-second stop go penalty. So action right in the beginning of the race. Gavin has gone down to 4th. So losing positions at the moment. TnB DW, he's in 3rd. TnB Wazi in 2nd, and Little Piece He's the winner of the start so far. He's found himself up in the lead in the Williams. A result Williams would love. Just have a look at the tyres. Got TnB in third, Gavin in fourth, RZDV in sixth. Those are your three super soft runners. Everybody else in the field on ultras. Let's just have a look what's happening down in 15th place again. And Griffin has been disqualified from the session. Didn't get a message this time as to why or what he did. But that's the end of 15th place and we're down to 14 runners. Back to the front. Little Piece leading the race on lap 2 by 1.6 seconds from TnB Wazi in the Salva. TnB he's got his hands full. He's in third place and he's not going to want to look in his mirrors. Gavin in fourth, all over the back of that Force India. Captain Nice, through a chaotic start, has got himself up into fifth. Little Piece just does the fastest lap of the race, or 1:10.4. Surely that's going to tumble as the race continues. Gonna have a look here at RZDV. He's coming into the pits. He's got damage on the wing, on the front wing, left hand side, changing a wing, and well, gonna have to come up with a very quick strategy change there. Pitting a lot earlier than he would have expected on a set of supers, and he's come out on a set of softs. But he's come out in 11th place and out of the points. And that's not the sort of result he'll want on his return. Little Piece still leads. Gap still hovering around the same, 1.8 seconds now. So it's gone up by 2/10. DW still in third. Gav still follows closely behind, but it's not being quite the handful as he was on the previous lap. Maybe just sitting back, maybe just making a mistake. Both of those runners, third and fourth, DW and Gav, both on the super soft. So it's going to be something important to watch as the race continues. They should be, if they don't get any damage, be able to go on longer than your two leaders, Little Piece and Wazi. Iggy landed up losing quite a few positions. He finds himself in 7th now, and he's also in a Red Bull sandwich. Not quite catching Captain Nice, and Mornay just behind him. Of course, Mornay stepping in for Nizmax at Red Bull. Doing a good job. It's in the points. Should be your first accomplishment in the points. Also having a good race so far. We haven't really mentioned him. He's having a great race, but he's been pretty quiet. He's gone by unnoticed. He's in 5th. Only 4 seconds adrift of Gavin, so not far behind. Now is this battle between third and fourth going to reform again? Seems like Gavin is closing that gap once more in the halves. Getting awfully close to the Force India. Want to get past, just got to make sure he does it at the right place. He's got DRS up the hill. Not the right time just yet, too far back. Fighting for this final podium position, third place. Activates DRS. Is it close enough? Not quite. And look at that, much later on the brakes. Slightest of nudges. Well, that's what I saw on my screen. Hopefully there's no damage. Doesn't appear to be. Tell you that Torquay has retired from the session. And in a big way. He's off the circuit into the tyre barrier. And you can add his tyre to that tyre barrier. So it's sitting next to the car. That's a heavy shunt. When the wheels come off, it's because you hit something hard. Mentioned earlier that the outright lap record around this circuit is a 1:04. That was actually set by Valtteri Bottas in a testing session. And for the MotoGP fans out there, the lap record around here on a MotoGP bike is a 1:24. So you're looking at a gap of 20 seconds on a short race circuit like this, and it just shows the speed of these cars. Obviously there's corners on this racetrack that you take full throttle on without thinking twice in a F1 car, but wouldn't think to do that on a bike. Why is he still in second? Just 0.8 of a second behind the leader, behind the Williams. We've got to fight for first, and we've got to fight for third. As I say that, I tune into third, briefly looking side by side there. Don't know what I saw. Don't know if Gavin just outbraked himself. Now, gap is a little bit bigger. DW is going to have his hands full. Luckily for him, they are on the same set of tyres. I think if Gav was on the ultra softs, he'd be having a much more difficult time of keeping him behind. As I say that, Gavin has left the circuit. He's gone onto the gravel. Let's try get on board with him, see if there's any damage. I don't see any damage to the front wing, but the tyres are in a real mess. He's going to have to make sure he gets those things up to temperature before he pushes again. And that's pushed him all the way down to 6th place. Obviously left DW in some clean air. I didn't see what the mistake was. I don't suspect any contact. There was definitely a gap between the two drivers when that happened. Now he's going to have to rebuild. With his head down. Not get too frustrated. Don't think about it. Just start stringing the good laps together again. His next target will be Iggy in 5th. He's 2 seconds up the road. So who's that? That's promoted Fossey up to 4th place. But Mornay's left the session and now he's rejoined. Obviously just having some sort of connection issue. Hope that doesn't continue for him. He's having a good race in the top 10. VW continues in 3rd place, a much more comfortable 3rd place than it was just a lap ago. It's Gavin's mistake, it seems. If there was contact, then I do apologize, but I don't believe there was. Not that I saw. Let's go back to your leaders. Little Peace and Wazzy still separated by, well, now 7/10 of a second, back up to 8. So Wazzy just maintaining that gap for now. Both of them on ultras. Got DW behind them 10 seconds down the road on a set of supers. Obviously playing a very different strategy. They're on the faster tyre and I think they'll want to increase that gap to more than 10 seconds. Hasn't been long and Iggy is now coming under pressure from Gav. The gap there just that 4/10 of a second. Time's jumping around a little bit. Now 2/10 of a second. It's really coming up in the slipstream. Is he going to attempt it? Not around the outside, not in that part of the track. Maybe on the switchback, but no. Iggy holds his line. Now side by side. Will he do it around the outside? Decides against it. That 5th place is definitely on the cards. Wants to get back up there. On a set of supers, having a battle at this point of the race could potentially ruin his strategy. So you'll want to get past here and back into clean air. Currently trying to get past Iggy in the Renault and to some extent coming under pressure from Pitt in the second Renault, so he's in a Renault sandwich trying to get past the Renault while having Renault in his mirrors. Get a bit of a helicopter shot there. Cut away, now moves to the inside. Will he get it this time? Yes he does. Does he run wide? No he doesn't. Nicely done. Gav up into 5th. That pushes Iggy down into 6th. 2 Reynolds running line astern in 6th and 7th, both in the points. And actually looks like Iggy could be coming under pressure from Pitt. Doubt there are any team orders there. The 2 Reynolds side by side down the straight. Is there going to be a position change? She seems like Pitt decided against it. They were side by side and he actually just tucked in behind his teammate. Decided against it, wasn't worth the risk. Last thing you want is a collision. But the worst possible collision is the one that hits your teammate. Fossey's still holding on to that 4th place. He's got quite a gap down to Gavin in 5th, so he's comfortable for now. DW still in third. That gap now 9.9 seconds, call it 10 seconds, so still holding on to that 10-second mark. I think that could be critical. So on a set of supers he can go further. While looking at some of the guys at the back, we've missed a very big pass at the front. Wazzy has taken the lead of this race, and I wonder if there was some sort of mistake involved, because he's leading by 3 seconds. Not sure what happened there, but we had an exchange for the lead. Wazzy now your leader. TnB still holding on. Doesn't want that gap to get too big. Ride with your leader. Now 3.2 seconds up the road from Little Piece, so he's extending that gap. He's coming up to Lapatora Rosso. Winner's not here, so I believe that is the judge. Judge gets out of the way sufficiently. So we started with 15 runners. We now have 13. Toki didn't finish. Seems like he had quite a violent shunt, left the track, and unfortunately I can't give you any information on Griffin, because I'm not sure what happened there. He got disqualified. He was going awfully slowly, and then the message came across the screen saying he had been disqualified, but it didn't give any reason. So I'm not quite sure what he did. That gap at the front, 3.8 seconds. Was he extending that gap? Top 3 are still Wazzy, Little Piece and DW. In 4th place we've got Fossey, doing a great job in the Ferrari. 5th place we've got Gavin, he's closing in on that 4th place. So Fossey could have his hands full in a couple of laps. On lap 17. Next question you've got to ask is, when is the first round of pit stops? Probably say from lap 20 onwards. So I think in the next 3 laps we're going to start seeing some action in the pit lane for the ultra soft runners. Got 4 drivers currently with super softs fitted to the car, and 2 drivers with softs fitted to the car. So lots of different strategies going on at the same time. And we're gonna have to wait and see how it all unfolds. Just lap 17, make that lap 18 of 71. Gap at the front really extending now, 5.8 seconds. DW in third, and that gap of 10 seconds, that gap is to second place, to Little Piece. So not making too much of an impression on second place, while first place is running away. Reynolds still running Linus third in 6th and 7th. It's Iggy and Pitt. Really seemed like at a stage that Pitt could go for the pass, and he chose not to. And now that gap has opened up to approximately 2 seconds. Captain Ice in 9th place for the Red Bull team. Be happy to be in the points. A lot can still happen. Mistakes can be made. Just got to make sure you're not the one doing them. Springbok Gamer rounds up the top 10. The second of the Force Indias, so that's both Force Indias in the points. Always a good thing for the Constructors' Championship. To consistently have 2 cars finishing in the points. Let's just actually have a look at the Constructors' Championship as it stands. And have a bit of an idea of things. Red Bull actually leading this championship. Unfortunately today we have the absence of Nizmax, so Springbok Gamer, the only Red Bull in the pits, he's in 9th, so not picking up too many points, and then Mornay finding himself just outside the points in 11th. So that's not a good day for your championship leaders. And then in second place we've got Force India, currently 2nd and 9th. They're both in the points. Could actually see a swap at the top there. And Haas not far behind. Neither is McLaren. McLaren is actually the surprise there in the top 4. Not far behind at all, just 12 points behind your leader. And I can't think of a race where both McLarens finished. I think of 1 or 2 where they both started, but I can't really think of one where they both finished. And when I say 1 or 2 that they started, I literally mean 1 or 2. Been a complicated season at McLaren. Watch Wazzy as he comes into the pits. That's your leader. He's going on to a set of supers, and he's out quickly. Been used to commentating on some endurance races, and the pit stops are much longer than that. Little P sets the fastest lap of the race in a 1 minute 10 flat. That was on a set of supers. Finding some pace on this tyre. It's obviously promoted DW to the lead of the race for the time being. He started on supers. It's on a very different strategy. So the 2 men that grace TnB in front of their name, they currently lead 1st and 2nd. Get mistaken for teammates from time to time because of the name. I believe they were teammates at one stage, if I'm not mistaken. Was it round 2? I think it was round 2. We were both in the Ferrari. Maybe in round 3, I'm not sure. And that Constructors' Championship was a no contest. Quite the battle here for first, but TnB DW in first, TnB Wazzy in second. TnB DW has not pitted yet, so he's going to hold on to track position as long as he possibly can. Every single meter he's able to hold Wazzy behind him, that is time that Wazzy's not able to run off into the distance. Now he's going to come up the inside. Is he going to do it now? Was there contact from that angle? I'm not sure. Doesn't seem like it. Don't see anything broken. And that's not going to be the end of this battle just yet. Second place can also keep in mind that he's going to come in any lap now. Doesn't want to make contact. He's going to go for it in the penultimate corner. Sides against that. Gets as close as he can, going onto the pit straight. He's going to activate DRS as they go up the hill. Gonna get a strong toe. Not quite. It's actually easier to pass on the second DRS section. And that Force India just keeping its nose in front for now, but that could change. Come side by side. Wazzy does have the inside line. Is he gonna... And look at that. Gets through on the inside. Nicely done. Did DW come back at him? No. Decides against it. Wazzy's taken the lead of this race with a pit stop in his pocket. And he's in a really strong position. Let's follow DW as he come in. No, he hasn't. He's still out there. He's in second. He could come under pressure from Little Piece shortly, not far behind, and he's going to be on a brand new set of super softs. DW's tyre is going to start feeling the age at this point. Might not be in bad shape, but the guys with fresh rubber are just clearly in better shape. Gavin going around in 5th place. He was a real challenger for third earlier. And when he lost it, he's up into 5th place. He's made his pit stop. He's come out on a set of supers. Apologise, not supers. He's come out on a set of softs. The yellow wall tyre. And he's looking to go very deep into this race, possibly to the end. I'm not quite sure. I haven't done my research. Wazzy goes fastest with a 1:10.0. It's the fastest lap of the race so far. TnB DW there in second. He's now holding off the challenge from third place, Little Piece. He wants to get through. He's going to be on a fresh set of super soft tyres. He's going to have the pace. Now remember, he's fighting for second, but he does have that pit stop in his pocket. And what happened there? Just backs off completely. Gap opens up. Wazzy goes fast as first man in the race to go into the 109s. It's 109.8. Gavin currently in fourth. It's on a set of softs. It's obviously something that could come into play later on in the race, when the strategies all start coming together. Sometimes you can't make much sense of them in the beginning. So let's go from the back. 13th place in the Toro Rosso. We have the judge. It's actually going around on a set of softs. So also looking to go as far into this race as possible and possibly finish. Like I said, I'm not quite sure how many laps set of softs can do. Well, I hope I'm not talking rubbish. I just noticed something on my my little timing screen over there. Shows that the judge is on softs, but as he drives past me I see he's on purple tyres. So fortunately I can't confirm which tyre he's on. We've just had a retirement. Captain Ice, he's pulled off to the side of the circuit. I don't see any big damage. Wonder if he just decided to retire. I'll try and find out from him if I can. Captain Ice has retired. We have the other Red Bull currently, Mornay. He's found his way up to 9th, which means we have at least one Red Bull in the points, but definitely not a good weekend for your championship leaders. This is going to take a big bite out of that Constructors' Championship lead, which was 12 points, I believe. Little Piece has made the pass on DW. DW's coming back at him down the straight, gets him back. So he's going to hold on to that second position for as long as he possibly can. Captain Ice has since left the session, so that is now promoted the judge up to 12th place, just 2 positions away from the points. So as things unravel, may find himself in the points. It's a very patient driver, may not be one of the fastest drivers on the track, but I think he's probably got one of the best finishing records. He's done hours and hours of endurance racing, so definitely somebody with patience. I wouldn't be able to hold that sort of concentration. I get distracted on a 5-lapper around an oval. So, the sort of endurance racing some of these guys have been doing, it's just clearly not for me. I believe they had a 12-hour last week. Insanity. Little piece in second there, he goes through the first corner, runs a bit wide, loses the back end of the car, and that's allowed DW to come back at him. And look at that, nicely done around the outside, and he reclaims second. And now obviously these two jockeying for position, second and third, that's going to also allow TnB Wazi to get further up the road. That gap now 18.6 seconds, almost 19, and pretty soon it's going to be up in the 20s. We haven't spoken much about Gav since he lost it in the opening stages of the race when he looked extremely quick. He's in 4th on a set of softs. That strategy could still come into play. It's your top runner on softs. Next man on soft is RZDV in 7th. Was doing a few laps with him earlier in practice, and he was complaining that he wasn't feeling the pace. A bit rusty from his holiday. And obviously he also had that that pit stop very early on in the race that sort of threw everything off. And I wonder if he expected to be on softs at all for this race. And now he spent the majority of the race on that exact tyre. Still no word on what happened to Captain Ice. Tried to find out, but haven't gotten any sort of response. So not sure what happened there. It wasn't a disconnection, it was a retirement. He said that gap would soon be up at 20 seconds, and now it is 20.5 in fact. And DW still holding on to second place. Not making it easy for Little Piece to get past. And when he does get past, he seems to make a little mistake that lets DW come back at him. Now that is still the tyre that DW started the race on. How much longer can he go on that tyre? Keeping Little Piece behind him for now. Little piece of DRS again. And will he go into the first corner? Gets squeezed a little bit, runs over the sausage curb. It's going to cause him to lose a little bit of traction. He stays right in the toe. It's not letting TW get away. Tries to go up the inside. Half and half, not quite. Tucks in behind the Force India once more. We haven't seen the end of this battle just yet. Want to see what's happening on the rest of the track, but I don't really want to leave this battle. I feel as I leave they're going to change position. Another thing to mention, wonder if any of these drivers are aware of it, but second and third place fighting for this position, and it's been going on for a couple of laps now, and it's actually allowing Gavin to make up some ground there in fourth place on that set of softs. Seems like Wazzy's opened up a 25-second gap, so that's a pit stop, basically, in your back pocket. But I think the remaining two podium spots could get very interesting, with Gavin not far behind. Oh, and there's contact. There's definitely contact, and here comes Gavin, and Gavin's lost a wing, and oh no, that is not what you want to see. Little Piece is retired from the session. He's left the session. Obviously not happy with what happened there, or happy with himself. Just decided to leave, didn't want to go on, was too annoyed, had good pace. And that brings Gavin, who was actually working his way into quite a strong position. He's got to come into the pits. He didn't see that coming. There's a collision and a long left-hander. He entered the left-hander, didn't see them. And when he got there, really just ran out of roads, just ran out of space, ran out of road, and went into the side of Little Piece. That is another stop that he was obviously not planning to make, and that's brought him down to 6th place and actually promoted RZDV, the sole running McLaren, up to 5th. That's brought Iggy back into a strong position on the number 4 Renault. He's in 4th, matching up with his number. And then we've got Fossey in the number 13 Ferrari. He's running around in 3rd now. So that collision, followed by pit stops, and retirements, has promoted Fossey up into 3rd, and has found a lot of pace around Austria. Gap at the front now, 33 seconds, was 25. That collision allowed it to open up even more. Fossey's not too far behind. DW in 2nd. That gap just 2.7 seconds. I do believe Fossi's super softs will be a lot fresher. Interesting to see if he can just close that gap. But surely DW's pit stop is going to be just around the corner. It's now lap 39. Didn't expect him to take them this far. The fastest lap goes to Gavin now on lap 39. It's a 109.6. So he's got pace. Just a frustrating turn of events for him. Just led him to be in 6th place. That 6th place has got nothing to do with his pace. Two major incidents for him during the course of this race, for Gavin that is. Was actually following DW quite closely when he lost it, and then the second incident was completely out of his control. DW finally comes into the pits from 2nd place. His tyres have had it. He's going to go into a set of ultra softs on lap 40. Not sure what his plan is, or how far he can take those. But I've mentioned before, he's a driver that can find that little something extra in a tyre. Iggy's been up the order, he's been down the order, but now he finds himself in 3rd place. We had the unfortunate retirement of our other international driver, Little Piece. Obviously, a battle of many laps with DW eventually landed up in some sort of contact, and he decided to leave. But Iggy's still going strong in the number 4 Renault. Still 30 laps to go. A lot can still happen. But from this vantage point, that lead does look pretty dominating. And it's Wazzy's race to lose. Must be honest, I wouldn't have predicted Fossey to be in 2nd place on lap 42 of 71. He's doing a fantastic job. The 13 on the side of his car doesn't seem to be bothering him one bit. Having a great race. Really enjoying the clean track. Not sure how he's going to be around if he gets into a battle. Iggy is chasing him, just six seconds down the road. So we could see a battle for 2nd quicker than you think. 4th place, TnB DW. It's on a set of ultra softs. Those are probably going to feel fantastic compared to what he was driving on. And he is closing that gap down to 3rd place. So those ultra soft tyres definitely having an effect. The only man on track right now on a set of ultra softs. Now's the time to give it everything. Podium position is at stake. RZDV's had a quiet race. He's in 6th place on a set of softs. If that's still the set of softs he put in when he broke his wing early on in the race. Those tyres have also been at it for quite some time. Got a response from Johan on what happened, and unfortunately he says the pain was too much, so not having a great time around the Red Bull Ring, and just deciding to call it a night. So watch Forsey now, he leaves the pits. He's gonna go down the order now. That's gonna promote TnB up into 3rd place. DW's actually in a rather strong position there in 3rd place. He's got a 4.8 second gap to Iggy, and he's on a set of fresh ultras, so he could catch him. Potentially turn this 3rd place into a 2nd place. Looking at the other Force India and a set of softs as well. Springbok Gamer. Having a clean weather. Bring the car home in the points. Around with the 2nd of the Reynolds in 8th place, pit. Also on a set of softs. We have 5 drivers out of the 11 runners, all on softs. Followed by 5 on supers. And then just 2nd place TnB solitary driver on ultras. Well, that's what my screen tells me anyway. If it's wrong, I have no way of checking, so I do apologize. Gap at the front has since extended to 52 seconds. So just under the 1 minute mark. We have a Red Bull off the circuit. Captain Ice has retired, so that can only be Monet. He's currently in 9th and he's called it a day. Didn't have terminal damage, but just retiring. Obviously just had enough, and that is going to be no points for your constructors, leaders, and that will bring the judge into the top 10. Like I said earlier about patience, could land you in the points. So no finish for Red Bull. Double points finish for Force India. Just the one McLaren. And that's currently in 5th. Gavin getting some good points for Haas as well in 3rd place. No way I'm gonna even attempt that calculation. Let the admin people do it. We have admin people, right? I think we have admin people. Salbavoisi dives into the pits. He's got a 52-second lead, so I think he doesn't need to worry about losing the lead. Quite an excruciating drive to the end of the pits. Salva garage is always further than you think. If that's correct, he's going on to another set of supers. He comes out in the lead of the race. That gap will just be slightly smaller, but I think it should still be over 25 seconds. When DW goes over the line, I'll be able to give you the gap. Not quite yet. There we go, 35 seconds, 34. Monet has now left the session. Leaves us with 10 runners from the 15 starters. We had a pretty strange disqualification for Griffin in the beginning of the race. Not able to give you a reason on that one. Then your DNFs, Toki, Captain Ice, Little Piece, and your most recent retirement, Monet. Which means a double casualty for Red Bull. He won on his first appearance back from the commentary box, and now he's going to win in Austria, having a bit of a handicap at the beginning of the season because he wasn't racing, but I think he's going to come into championship contention rather quickly if these sort of results continue. Wins lap 51 and sets the fastest lap while he's at it, a 108.3, setting down a marker. DW still in second on that set of ultras. Gavin in third. He's on a set of fresh supers. 20 laps to go. One would assume that DW definitely still needs to stop. I don't think he can stretch those tyres quite that long. Will that promote Gavin into second? Does he need to stop? Just flashed past a Toro Rosso, was luckily ghosting. Otherwise Gavin would have had more heartache. going through a corner only to find a car waiting to be T-boned. Just looking at the stops, it's been a relatively clean race. Doesn't look like anybody's done too many stops. Highest amount of stops is 3 for Death Seeker, and everybody else on 2, besides DW and the judge, on 1 pit stop each. He's still doing a good job in 4th place, matching the number on his car. Can't tell you what tyre he's on because sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's red. Forsy's in 5th in the Ferrari. Good result for him. He's showed some pace. Definitely showed pace in qualifying. Just needs to translate those lap times into race pace. He's holding off RZDV, still in 6th place. He's now on a set of ultras. Second Force India still running around in 7th place, doing a solid job.